Hello, my name is Cindy, and I'm going to be sharing a presentation about ethanol, biofuel, and its effects on human life. So the main question that may come to mind is, what is a biofuel? Biofuels are defined as the product of biomass materials. They have many uses and applications, but the main one is transportation fuel. Outside of all that, we use it for heating, electricity production, and many other things. But the biofuel of focus today is ethanol. Ethanol is an anhydrous, meaning without water, alcohol, specifically used for sparking ignition of machines. The main source of ethanol is corn, at least in America. It's the main starch that we use for biofuel. Corn itself can be grown in many different places, all types of different soil. It's normally grown from the east or west coast. Once it's sprouted, it's cultivated using a dry mill and then dispersed by train or truck. Ethanol itself is created through a process we call alcoholic fermentation, in which yeasts utilize sugars as substrates to create a reaction, the product of which is energy, ethanol, and other metabolic byproducts. On the left is a diagram in which glucose is being transformed into ethanol through this alcoholic process. Ethanol is a highly accessible biofuel that we use in our day-to-day lives. The production of this biofuel increases year to year, and given the fact that ethanol is a renewable resource, it is incredibly easy to reproduce and globally distribute. Research carried out by the National Wildlife Federation and U.S. Department of Energy proved that ethanol emits 24% more carbon dioxide compared to gasoline alone. This is due to changes made in order to grow corn, harvest it, and combustion in general. This contributes to our crisis of global warming. The first step of synthesizing ethanol is grinding the sugar source down into a fine powder. This is done through the means of dry mills, mostly because they are a cheap resource, which makes up for the extreme cost of corn. This also puts us in a dilemma because the cost of corn overcomes the cost of manufacturing ethanol, which makes for a lack of revenue. Although the concern of ethanol being a contribution to global warming is expressed verbally on TV and other social media platforms, it is also in many pieces of literature such as articles, newspapers, and books. The book of choice is E.O. Wilson's Creation, An Appeal to Save Life on Earth, which discusses the way humans should be treating the earth. He uses ethanol as an example to show its harmful properties and how it indeed does contribute to global warming. He also encourages environmental stewardship regardless of your cultural beliefs and backgrounds on the topic. Ethanol is an extremely useful biofuel and hands down very easy to reproduce. However, it does come with some environmental and financial conflicts. Implementing trade regulations or reducing the sales of corn are steps I would take to see signs of balanced trade and financial stabilization. Disregarding the obvious funding obstacle we have to face, I would encourage research to discover other ways to cultivate corn in a manner that doesn't harm the environment. If this is not possible, it would be wise for researchers to invest in alternative plants that release less carbon dioxide and essentially figure out how to process them to create ethanol. These are citations of the resources I use for evidence and information for my project.